Hi, greetings. It's me, Dr. Paul Gerhardt, and here we are about in the midterm of this term. And I want to see everybody that started the class finish the class and learn a lot. And it's not over till it's over, but I suspect that some of you have found that you're having trouble finding enough time to be successful in being a good team member. And that seems to be the case with almost anything in life. I know that I take on a lot of responsibility, and what I've learned that is if I don't schedule enough time to do whatever it takes in what I've taken on, it doesn't turn out very well. I'm human, and I know you're human too. So I ask you to really do what I think the best time managers do and prioritize the most important things. If you want to earn a degree that opens doors for you, or certificates that open doors for you, you have to take time to learn the concepts that are represented by that degree or certificates. You know, learning is an active process, and I know you hear me say it over and over and over again, but it is so true. I was in college for 12 years straight, and I didn't watch television for 10 of those years at all. And these days, when we have so many things coming and going and so many prioritizing, it can be somewhat of a challenge, I know. So on Mondays, I always send out the announcements on what's expected for the week. You know, you can predict it. You know, we've already got the due dates. I'm just reiterating what's due. And so you got to schedule time to study the chapters and study to learn. That means not just read the chapters, but be really reflecting on the content of the chapters. You know, ask yourself the proactive questions. What does this mean? Where have I seen this before? Does this mean this, or does this mean that? What does this mean? Or I just read this and I don't understand what this is. Let me go back and read it again. And then have a notebook and then write down things that are new to you. You know, when you're seeing things over and over again and you're reflecting on it, that's when the information becomes yours, and then you have tools to use at a later time. But if you never really learned it because you haven't been going through the learning process, which includes reflecting and taking in information, then you lose it. So study to learn. The project that is in place to work with your team is in place, not for you to just lay on the backs of your team members. Excuse me. It's in place to help you really be able to think through key concepts that are valuable to employers. In this case, it's human resources. You know, human resource professionals have so many important duties, and even if you're not even going to work in human resources, you have to know what they do. If you're working in a business, you got to know how to design a job analysis. You have to be able to recruit people, the right people, the best talent for that job. Your organizations become stronger when they recruit the best people, and then they treat them in a way that makes them not want to go anywhere, and it helps them continue to professionally develop so that they become stronger and stronger and more of an asset to the organization. And that's what human resource people do. And some companies, you know, companies that have less than 100 people generally don't have human resource departments, or they have someone that does human resource functions and then they do other duties. That's kind of the nature of business. But if they're large organizations, generally speaking, they have several people for every 100 employees that are out there, or they have people who have specific duties within the human resource department to help make the organization stronger. You know, they're in charge of benefits, or they're in charge of recruiting, you know, or they're in charge of disciplinary action or policy development. Whatever those duties are, this class is really designed to really help you understand what goes in place. You know, projecting for a future, for recruitment. You know, you got to have the right amount of employees on staff at all time to help your company to grow, but then you've got to figure out how to keep those people there and then make sure that the organization stays strong because those employees have the right skills and training. So maybe you have human resource people that are just in charge of recruiting talent or in the training and development process. Everybody wants those training and development jobs. They're the best probably in the human resource position. And I suspect there are some of those people that want to be in charge of disciplinary action, or the ones that want to be in charge in helping managers understand what's legal and not legal, or how to act in an ethical way to empower employees to be their very best. I don't want anybody to be an evil human resource person. You can't find ways to get rid of people. You have to find ways to make people right, or help them see how their actions may be making the organization weaker. But all of those things mean you've got to have the right systems in place. And that's why policies are in place. They create safety. They help clarify expectations. And having the most talented people in an organization who want to be in the organization and who want to give their very best, that's what human resource people do. So you are in a class that really can help you become a valuable asset to your current and future employers, but you've got to take time to learn the concepts of this course. That's why I've chosen the book that I have. That's why I've chosen the resources and the assignments that are associated in here. Quizzes are easy when you really understand the concepts. They're difficult when you don't understand it, and it takes time to process and reflect information, but you got to take time to take it in. And then finally, the project is in place to help you think through those important processes and demonstrate it. Yeah, it's a powerful class, but you got to schedule time for success. And I want to talk to you about that team project, the Human Resource Training Manual. These specific elements of it that are listed in your syllabus are in place for you to create a portfolio item that you work through with your team members. And I really want to specify, every single team member needs to be working through every single section of it on its own, on your own, and then collaborating with your team members on those sections. So that means you have to finish each of the sections first and then come together and say, hey, I've worked on sections 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's what I have. What do you have? I don't agree with yours on this. I think it should be this. Our company does this, and we're training people in our company to understand the policies that will help make our organization safer or strong. And this is why I don't think we should do this. That's the whole project. You are creating a training manual to train people in human resources on the company's expectations in alignment with laws that are already in existence. So you can copy the laws word for word that pertain for each of the sections. But the rest of the manual needs to be in your own original wording. I'll send it through the plagiarism checker. So don't just change a couple words. That does not make it your own. The syllabus is very specific on the expectations. You have to show me that you're thinking through the processes and being able to put those concepts to show me you understand those processes and terms. You're creating documents that show that you understand how to apply these concepts. So I want to go through the syllabus section that has the requirements of this. And again, I want to emphasize, every person needs to be working through every single section of the Human Resource Manual on their own, and then coming together as a team to make sure that it's synthesized in a way that works for the business model that you are working on. Ideally, you're working on a human resource manual that someone on your team could actually use for the company that they're working for or want to work for or build. That would be ideal for this. So, number 1, identify and describe human resource departmental duties and responsibility. So you'll want to go through and really think about the concepts that you're learning from our textbook and then talk about those. On a second note, then you're going to create, so that could be an overview section of your manual. Number 2, create a glossary. So I really want you to take a look at the key terms found in your textbook that are related to concepts that are a part of this manual, and I've spelled them out. A job analysis, what is it? How does it apply? Auditing, Job design. Each of those need to be specific terms that are spelled out in original wording, not just changing a few words, but original wording that really shows that you understand these concepts. And if you've got 7 members on your team, it should really make sense. It should be free of errors. It should be very, very clear on what those are. Maybe even give examples in your glossary. Number 3, identify and thoroughly describe factors that influence human resource trends and forecasting. That's a really important concept. If you want to have a strong organization, forecasting is really important. What trends are out there? Every business is affected by so many things. Motivating employees, I'm asking you to really think about, if you have managers, they're probably going to have employees that need to be motivated. How can you motivate people? Dive into the literature. Show me you understand how to apply the existing theories that are out there. Make it very clear. It's a training manual. How would you train somebody to motivate people and apply motivational theory? Research and report thoroughly current employment discrimination laws. Identify factors impeding equal opportunity that may be pertinent to your organization. Develop a training manual to help minimize the impact of these factors. So, lots of big points associated with each of these sections. Think it through on your own, then come together with the other smart people on your team. Develop a flow chart of the recruitment process. Flow chart. That's actually asking you to create a flow chart. Anyway, there's a lot. You got to take a stand on unions. Anyway, in this manual, there's very specific language on what I'm looking for. That's the rubric. I would love to see every team earn every single part, because every single person was being a proactive member of the team and working through every single section, coming to team meetings either virtually or in person. Connecting as partners over the phone and then saying, me and Sarah worked on this particular part together and we agreed on these different things. What do you guys think? And then coming together to synthesize these things. But you need to work on every single section on your own, then collaborate. That's how that works. Anyway, the video is getting kind of long, but I just put this together to kind of help you really think about where we're at. We're in week 4. This is week 7. You should be more than halfway through, ideally, but there's lots of time to do this. This is not high school. You can't throw something together in the last minute and expect it to be excellent. A is the grade that shows excellence. It shows mastery of the key concepts. It shows that you met the rubric standards. B says mostly you did that. C says kind of did that. F means you didn't freaking show up and show you had understanding for it because you were too busy prioritizing other things. Yeah, I said freaking. So, hey, I want everybody to be successful in this class and to have a powerful and positive experience. It really is all on you as an adult. Keeping your eye on the prize, recognizing that if you can learn these valuable concepts and show that you have through a human resource training manual, that will make you more of an asset to current and future employers. That's what education is all about. Learning how to do things other people's way, and then learning how to collaborate with other smart people in a productive way, being a leader, being an effective team member, and being a good time manager. These are all important skills to learn and practice in every single class, because that's what employers look for. Pierce College's business department has got an amazing reputation of excellence, and it's because we have high standards, and we are very clear with those high standards, and we're here to support you in helping you meet those high standards. But we can't help you if you can't be proactive and ask and then schedule the time to become an amazing learner and team member. All right. That's what I have for you. Please be proactive. Please be a good team member. Please make this a powerful and positive learning experience with your conscious efforts. And I'm here to support your success, so just ask. Thank you so much for being here. I really sincerely appreciate it. This is Dr. Paul Gerhardt. Have a great day. Only you get to choose